Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. First of all, I want to tell you that I found gasoline for under $4 a gallon here in California. Yes, there's a Hard Rock casino near where I live, and they have the cheap stuff. The 87 octane for $3.99 a gallon. I know. Flabbergasted. But also when I was there, and I'll get to the topic of the video in a minute, but also when I was there, I kind of had a realization. You know, I had a dad moment, and I remember as a kid with my dad, we'd go out, work or whatever, helping somebody or splitting wood to bring back to the house for the fireplace. We get done working. You know how it is, you're working hard, you break a sweat, you're dirty. We'd go pull up to a store, a gas station, or something and go inside to get a cold drink. And when you're a little kid, you don't really notice that shit. But when you get older, you get into your adolescence, you start worrying about, oh, somebody's going to see me. I got dirt. I'm dirty. I'm sweaty. And what if I run into somebody or some shit like that? I remember my dad, he would have, like grass on his hat. He always wore a hat. Oh, he had grass on his hat or something, or dirt, mud, whatever. And I would always wonder, how can you not care? How do you not care how you look or what people think of how you look? And I've done this before, but I never really thought about it this way. But like my dad, he ran out of give a shit. His give a shit tank was now reserved for things that were important, and what total strangers might think about what you look like didn't make the cut. So he tapped his pockets. Yep. I'm fresh out of give a shit about stuff like that. And that's where I am. Like, I wouldn't care who I ran into. I wouldn't care what somebody I knew thought about what I look like, let alone a stranger. Like, I don't know you from a can of paint. I could give a shit what you think about anything, let alone my appearance. I would scoff. I would scoff at some stranger commenting on what I'm wearing, not knowing what I was just doing. I was just doing some yard work, cutting the grass, repairing some sprinkler heads. And you're proud. You're proud to be dirty. You're proud because you are working hard. That's something to be proud of. But as a kid, you're so self-absorbed. What do you look like? What they think? Who you hang out with? Your clothes, your shoes, all that bullshit. And I've told this to my younger stepbrothers when they were in high school, that the moment you graduate from high school, the next day when you wake up after you graduate high school, you do not care about a lot of the things that you cared about 24 hours ago. But of course, like most advice that you try to give young people, it falls on deaf ears, and they got to experience it for themselves. But I really had a dad moment, and I'm on an 80s kick right now. I was just listening to Phil Collins and Philip Bailey, Easy Lover. Are you kidding me? Do you want a song that you can blast in your car with the windows up or down, whatever, but you want to keep all that sound in? Man, Phil Collins and Philip Bailey of Earth, Wind & Fire fame. The song is called Easy Lover, the summer of 1984. Are you fucking kidding me? So I'll be blasting that again once I'm done doing this video. But what are we here for? Well, Trump is pissed off. Rightfully so. So yesterday, he announces we have come to a peace agreement. We are going to have a full and complete ceasefire in 12 hours. We're just going to give Iran and Israel time to kind of tear down their materials and their stronghold, power everything down, bring everybody back, de-escalate, send out orders. Got to give time for this stuff to happen. So we're going to give it 12 hours. At the end of that 12 hours, we are going to have complete and total peace. Damn it. Give Trump the Nobel Peace Prize right now. Just for the fact that he reached that agreement, and for other things. Because you gave that shit to Obama. before he was in office, before he was even able to do anything. It wasn't even possible for Obama to do anything. And you gave him the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, can you find the Nobel Peace Prize at the bottom of a Cracker Jack box in a box of cereal if they still do that? Kids, do they still have toys in cereal? That's how old I am. I'm old enough to get excited at a certain box of cereal my mom brought home because there's a prize in there. Do they still do that? I don't know. But it's not that, Trump probably doesn't even want it, but it's the fact that we finally have somebody who deserves it. We finally have someone who's done something to deserve it. Not just because of the color of his skin. He did something to deserve it. But anyway. So this morning, we go to bed last night, peace in the Middle East. We wake up this morning, and apparently Iran fired a rocket. It landed nowhere, and I'll put a link in the description box to the video of Trump explaining all this. He was at the White House. I guess he was going to get on the helicopter or whatever, and he was addressing the media. And by the sound of their voice, a lot of it was foreign media. One woman he spoke to, she said she was from some Israeli news outlet. And so he's going to get on the helicopter. Apparently, Iran fired a rocket. It landed like in the middle of a field somewhere. It didn't hurt anybody but some rodents, right? But Israel kind of overreacted, and he said, quote, they unloaded. He said they didn't have to drop so much ordnance. They went overboard. We have peace here. Don't you want it? Remember Happy Gilmore when he said, hey, Happy, send the ball home. Send it to its home. And he puts the ball and it won't go in the hole, and he says, you're too good for your home? You don't want to go home, you stupid ball? So figuratively, Trump has Iran and Israel by the back of their neck. What's wrong with you? I got peace for you. You don't want peace? You don't want your people to stop dying? You don't want hostages to stop being taken? You're not tired of the surrounding buildings, both big and small, being reduced to a pile of rubble? I got peace. Don't you want it? He has Netanyahu in one hand and the Ayatollah in the other. Don't you fucking want peace? I got it right here. Eat it. Here, you stupid. Eat it. Reminds me of that scene from Chinese Connection. In some places it's called Fist of Fury. But it's the one where Bruce Lee goes and he fights all the black belts in the dojo. And what leads up to that scene is the movie opens on his master's funeral. So, you killed my master. Right? His master's dead. These guys come to his master's funeral because supposedly the master died from an illness. He's Chinese. It was during the Japanese occupation of China in the 30s. So they come to his master's funeral and they bring a sign that says sick men of Asia. That would be like your family member dying of cancer and one of their enemies comes to their funeral with a sign that says sick man or sick woman of whatever state you're from. What? So he says, the guy saying, hey, if any of you can beat us, we'll eat this sign, right? So Bruce goes against his elders' wishes and he goes to that school, whoops their ass, grabs a sign, tears off a piece of paper, and he starts shoving in the dude's mouth because you said, if I fuck you up, you're going to eat this sign. So he did that. He rips the sign into pieces and he starts stuffing it into the dude's mouth and he says, eat. And he told him this time, it'll be paper. The next time, it'll be glass. So he told him. So Trump has a big old triple chocolate layer cake of peace. So eat it. So this morning he wakes up to them exchanging ordnance and it pisses him off. And he says, what you have here are two countries that have been fighting so hard and so long that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that? And he walks away. It's the coldest shit you've ever seen. Donald Trump is colder than a polar bear's toenails. As my dad would say, he's colder than penguin pussy and seal dick. He said, don't you understand that? And he turned around and walked away. Now, some people might say, Jericho, you were talking shit about the Democrats when they were cussing. Aren't you going to hold Trump to the same standard? No, I'm not, because it's different. They are cursing because they think that's some way to connect with the common man. They think if they use foul language like damn it and hell and shit and what the fuck, that the common everyday beer drinker is going to be like, hey, I talk like that too. A hill. That's why they curse. Trump cursed because he was pissed. You ever stub your toe? You ever miss the nail and hit your finger? Huh? Ladies, you ever go to take your bra off like all of you do as soon as you step foot in the house? Cell phone somewhere. We'll look for it later. Bra off, titties out. You ever reach for that bra strap in the back and snap yourself? You mean to tell me after you've done one of those things you said, gosh darn it? I don't think so. You probably let an F-bomb go. Trump was pissed. I did all this shit to get a peace deal. I announce it to the world and then you make me look like an asshole? You make me look like an asshole, Obi. You can't do that. Don't make me look like an asshole. Because when I go out here and tell the world I got A, B, and C, and here you guys come with D, E, and F, we got a problem. Houston? Do you understand that? So Netanyahu, sit your ass down. Ayatollah, sit your ass down and eat this peace pie. Now, I want it clean, every crumb. When I come back in here, there's any peace pie left, I'm whooping your ass. Now, this, as I close, might fly in the face of those that say that Israel is Trump's puppet master. Because if you watch this video that I gave you a link to, it doesn't sound to me like he's a puppet. Because he said multiple times, I'm pissed at Israel. You didn't have to do that, Israel. You're fucking this up, Israel. He said, I'm mad at Iran too, but Israel overdid it. You went too far, Israel. Does that sound like a puppet? That's why I want you to meet me in the comments. Talk to me, goose. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. I'm out.